Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the second last F1 Esports video of 2026. And as you can see, we are heading to Interlagos in Brazil. And this is our first lap in Q1. As you can see, quite a few people already finishing their laps. And after last time out in Brazil, we are now 5 points behind in the Constructors' Championship. Otis ended up getting a 1 second penalty, so he dropped some extra points. And then Danny Bresnay did not score any points in Mexico. So with our P5 finish, we actually gained quite a bit of points there. And then in the Drivers' Championship, as you can see, 41 points behind. And yeah, very unlikely we're still in that championship. We'll have to win both races realistically to really do something there. But never say never. There's always a very small chance. But the focus, as I said a few races ago, has shifted to the Constructors' Championship. But in order to win the Constructors, the end goal kind of remains the same. We have to score as many points as possible. First lap in Q1, it's only P12. And that means we have to go again, because that's not going to be enough to make it into Q2, probably. You never really know, of course, but in a normal scenario, that will not be enough. So we have to improve, and through turn 1 and 2 we go, and that's already 800 up. We got such a good exit right on the limit. You can see the rear wanting to get away. Into sector 2 we go, and that is nearly 110 up as we head into turn number 4, through turn number 5, and then a very fast right-hander coming up here, up the hill. It's only a little lift for us, sometimes even flat out, depending on the setup you're driving. A little bit of understeer there. And then trying to get as much rotation as possible over that inside curb on the left. Same for this one. Very understeery on the F1 games, these corners. So very important to try and get good rotation. Into the final sector we go, and we're 110 up compared to our last lap. And that should be enough to make it through into Q2. P15 at the moment. There's still quite a few people finishing the laps, but that 110 improvement is going to see us shoot up the order up to P8, and that is more than enough to make it into Q2. Unfortunately, we had to use 2 sets of tires for that. That's never ideal. Nicolas Longe P1 by half a tenth, which is quite a big margin on this track actually. Thomas Gall, Tycho Hardy and Tom Manley out in Q1 here. So, Q2 it is, and this is our first new tire run. We've already set a banker on used tires, but once again, we are running quite soft tires around this track. Earlier on in the year, we actually used the C543 compound. Now it's the C432, so it has gone a little bit harder. It's still quite soft. As we cross the line, it's P10, and once again, that is not going to be enough to make it into the next round of qualifying. 1 lap to go, and the pressure is fully on again. Every little mistake we make here will have direct consequence in the team championship. So we have to lock in here for this final lap, and that's such a good first sector. Not a great turn 4, lost the rail a little bit, but that was a 0.86. As you can see there, if you compare that sector to my teammate Freddie Rasmussen, that's a huge gain actually. As we head into the middle sector, little flick to try and get the car to slow down, and then through the left-hander. Again, super important to get good rotation. 1.5 tenths up, a little bit slower on the exit, lost a few hundreds there, but we gained it on much more on the entry, and into the final corner we go. Good rotation through the final corner, and 1.4 tenths up, and that might just be enough to squeeze into Q3. It's going to be close, like it always is on this track. Across the line we go, taking as little distance as possible, and it's P7 with only 1 car to finish our lap, I think so. And that puts us in P7, right behind our teammate Freddie Rasmussen, 800s away from P1 we are. And out in Q2 go Ruben Pedreno, Danny Bresnay, Joris Cruz and Joni Tomola and Jan Halliday. And crucially, one of the Alpines out in Q2. That is very good for our team championship hopes. But Ferrari in a 2-3 position. They are the only other team together with us and McLaren in Q3. Actually, I'm waffling. Williams was there as well. But they are not really a threat in the championship anymore. I think mathematically not even possible for Williams to still be there. But Ferrari still is. Especially if they finish well here today, then they're well and truly back in it. But we can't worry about that. The only thing we have to worry about is this final qualifying lap in Q3. One new set of tires. We didn't have any extra sets. Some people even had 3 sets of tires for the session. We don't. We have to do it with 1. We're actually slower in Sector 1 than we were in Q2. And this is because turn 1, 2, 3 is a little bit RNG. You just need to hope that the front tires don't randomly lock. So yeah. And the delta to the top right is to the used tires as well. And we actually went negative for a moment there. So yeah, balance like always, worse on new tires than on used. I still don't know why it is, but it always just feels a lot more understeery. Into the final sector we go. Not a great split. Just a little bit of an underwhelming lap in general. We're going to be 2.5 tenths up as we cross onto the DRS line. Nearly 2.6 tenths. It always depends a little bit how much you gain right in the end there with how much ERS you've left. But we go P7. Make that P8, I think so in the end. No, it is P7. So, not great, not terrible, not the end of the world. But yeah, Otis Lawrence in P1. Right there in the end again. And yeah, as I said, a bit of an underwhelming lap, but realistically, even if we went a tenth faster, we only would have gained 2 positions. So perhaps we were lacking a little bit of pace here. But yeah, who knows what we can do in the race. It's not an easy track to overtake. That's for sure. We're going to have to try and fight back here in the race. Maybe with strategy we can do something. As per usual, we're going to be starting on the hard compound of tire. At the moment, we're actually the first of the hard compound runners, as you can see on the race director there. That doesn't always mean something because people always switch last moment. But we're going to stick to the hard. So we're going to be starting on the hard compound and do our usual strategy pretty much. Even though on this game, it hasn't been the greatest. Also, this track, it's very hard to overtake someone who only has 1 or 2 or 3 lap older tires than you. But we are gonna try and have to do it. Alfie Butcher right ahead of us on the hards as well. He's more fasty as well, I think so. It's gonna be 5 red lights. And away we go. 2 races to go in the championship. And we're fighting for the F1 Esports Team World Championship. We got Freddy on our inside. He's on the mediums. He's more grip. Obviously, we're not gonna try and bother him because we want him to gain as many positions as possible on this opening lap on those mediums. Let's see if he can maybe make a move into turn 4. He's gonna get boxed in a little bit, but doesn't seem to matter too much with the extra grip he has available. So that's a good start. And we have managed to maintain P7 here. Trying to park the car a little bit on the apex here. And yeah, not lose any positions into this right-hander. It's quite a popular dive bombing opportunity, that corner. We will see that throughout this race happening a few times. It happens every year. Rarely happens without contact though. So yeah, I think there are some better overtaking opportunities. Yeah, opening lap done. We got some hard runners behind us. Alvaro Carreton, Jake Benham. So let's see what they do with the strategy. There's a lot of laps you can box. I think you can box as early as lap 18 onto the mediums, but then obviously you will be struggling later on in the races. We got our first 2 people coming into the box, Barry Bormand and Otis Lawrence, both boxing for a new set of the hards. We're going to continue. Obviously, we're on the hards, and that means it's only 3 people remaining, I think so, on the medium hard strategy. As our teammate Freddy Rasmussen boxes at the end of lap 16. And now we're in P4. We actually have to push quite a bit here together with Alfie Butcher. He's going to push to try and get DRS from Thomas Ronhaar on the next lap. And yeah, then it's Ismail Fassi ahead of Thomas Ronhaar on the hards. So yeah, they are all on the hard medium strategy. Obviously they're ahead of us, so we are fighting for position. And it's crucial that we try and get ahead of them. But it's easy said and done, especially on the same tires. It's going to be a nearly impossible task here to pull that one off. End of lap 19. And we're going to see Alvaro Carreton behind us come into the pits for a new set of the mediums. We're going to continue. We got another 3 cars ahead of us boxing at the end of lap 20 to cover off Alvaro Carreton on that undercut. We continue together with Nicolas Longuet. We're going to do the opposite. We felt like we had nothing to lose anyway. Following them in would basically guarantee that we were going to finish P4 at maximum. And we are not going to accept that. Start of lap 22, Nicolas Longuet gets past us. Yeah, he wants to push on. Maybe he had a little bit fresher tires. Not sure. But yeah, end of lap 23, I felt like it was the right time to box. And yeah, it's only 13 laps to the end from here. Now, we saw people pull that off on the mediums in Mexico, and that was a step softer with higher tire wear. So 13 laps is really not a lot of time to make up those positions, especially on this track. It's quite a lot harder to make moves here. As you can see, 2 people go side by side into turn 1. I think that's Alfie Butcher and Ruben Pedreno. So, start of lap 24, and we are down in P16. We will move up to P13 after all the pit stops. We will obviously undercut Nicolas Longuet. Then we got Joris Cruzen still up there. Actually, I'm waffling. We will gain 5 positions. We will move up to P11. Still 2 cars out on track on the hard medium strategy. But yeah, we came out, I think, around 4 seconds behind Ruben Pedreno. And just in a lap time, we've gained 2 seconds. So a tire advantage clearly working. Now, obviously, some part of that has to comes down to the fact that there's a medium hard train, and they have all boxed quite early for the undercut, of course. So they're slowing this train down, but they have the advantage of track position. So that's the issue we're gonna have now. Yeah, Nicolas Longuet boxed 1 lap later and came out 2.5 seconds behind us. So he will catch up to us in no time, because we're going to be stuck in this traffic now as well. As Alfie Butcher, remember, he boxed quite a few laps before us, and he is only in P11, right ahead of us. That is a net P9, of course, when the last 2 people box. But yeah, Alfie Butcher trying to get his way past Danny Bresnay there, and that is good for us, because we're going to just be sitting back a little bit. We're not really losing time in this traffic yet, because we only caught up in the last sector, and then it's 2 DRS zones, so no bunching up yet, but we will get that in the middle sector. We've actually gained time on this lap to Nicolas Longuet, but now we're just going to sit back, and Ruben Pedreno goes for the move into the fast right-hander. There's a bit of contact, and thank you very much. That is 2 positions for us. Thomas Ronhaar goes for the move on Jake Benham into the right-hander. Yes, I think Jake Benham went for a really aggressive undercut. Thomas trying to find his way to the inside. Again, it's 3 wide up ahead here. Alfie's got the fresher tires here in this race, actually. So I'm not sure what these 2 are really doing here. But yeah, we're going side by side. We had a little bit of an awkward contact there. I was a little bit unlucky that we got a slide, but doesn't matter too much. We've already gained 2 positions on this lap, so this has been a great lap. We still got a full battery though, and we're going to try and make a move into turn 1. We're going to brake a little bit later around the outside. Bit of contact between the 2 cars ahead. We managed to still go side by side with Alfie Butcher. He leaves us the space. And now we get a good run onto the next straight, and we got a lot more battery. Remember, we have just been saving while they were fighting, and we just get the move done into turn 4. Had to back out though, because we were definitely not far enough alongside of Thomas. And now we're straight away going to go for a move again on Thomas Ronhaar into the fast right-hander. He leaves us just enough space. I made sure that he left us enough space. Because I squeeze him to the right a little bit. And now into the right-hander here. As we're still trying to get past Thomas Ronner. I'm not sure why Jake is trying to help him, because obviously Thomas is not his teammate. And he's also on fresher tires. So again, we're going to try and go for a move maybe on the start-finish straight. Yeah, we're already up to P8. We only started P7, so we still got 9 laps to basically get where we started. But obviously we're going to try and get more. Thomas Ronner out of battery below 10%, as you can see there. We're going to try and go around the outside into the next left-hander. Can't get the move quite done, as he goes a little bit for the apex. Nearly we spin around, but we managed to keep it on track. And now we're going to go for it again into turn number 4. We're going to brake deep, but we can't get the move done. And now 2 cars behind us going side by side. Nicolas Longe and Alfie Butcher. We're going to have to recharge the battery now to not get completely shafted in later on in this race by Alfie. But he was pushing as well, of course. I think there was a little incident between him and Nico. We go down the inside. Oh, Thomas Ronner has it really bunched up there. Around the outside into the next left-hander. And unfortunately, we cannot get the move done. We go down the inside again into the next right-hander. We got full battery. And again, looks like we're going to struggle a little bit. I'm not sure why Jake was trying to help Thomas here again, because now it has completely bitten him back, and he's gonna lose 2 positions rather than 1, or not any at all. But we'll take it. Up to P7 we go, and we're gonna try and go for a move again into turn 1. Brake around the outside. Thomas brakes a little bit deeper. We got a car on our inside, braking very deep. We leave Alfie the space, and we keep P7 nonetheless. So yeah, 6 laps to go, and we basically arrived at the medium hard train. Alvaro Carreton there in P4 on the medium hard. And you can see there's a huge gap between the 2 Ferraris in 1-2. That is Ismail Fassi leading the race, and obviously he's had a little bit of help from his teammate Bowery, but they played that really, really well. So hats off to them. They're in a 1-2 position, and obviously going to try and maintain that. I think for us it's going to come a little bit too late. We're obviously quite far behind, as there's a dive on from Thomas on our teammate Freddie Rasmussen, and kind of saw this coming. 2 positions gained for us, up to P5 we go. Thomas down the inside again, but this time we're around the outside, which is going to turn to the inside for the next left-hander, and we get the move done up to P5. Saw that coming from a mile away. Yeah. Obviously, if you dive on Freddy, then you can kind of expect that you're gonna get the favor returned on the very next corner. So yeah, P5 and Otis in P3. That means we get, if we finish like that, we outscore Alpine by 1 point, which we kind of would like to have more, but it's still better than losing points, of course. Us in P5 will get 10 points, then Freddy in P7 will get 6 points, which will be 16 points. P3 gets 15 points, and Danny Bresnay is out of the points, I'm quite sure, at this point in the race. Last lap of the race, and let's see if we can do something on this final lap. You can see the rears squirming around on us on the exit there, but nothing we can do yet. We gotta be careful, of course, because Williams might be in their own battle with someone in the Constructors' Championship, and we're not fighting them, so taking a lot of risk would be a little bit necessary, especially for 2 points, you know, as I'm trying to get close to the car ahead. I can't really get close enough to really have a go at Alvaro Carreton. So yeah, we might just have to stick with P5 here, as Barry Bormond actually still in P2, managed to keep the lead, which is quite impressive. But yeah, Ferrari's going to get a 1-2, so going into Abu Dhabi, the final round in the championship, we're not on our own in the team championship, in the fight against Alpine. It's going to be a 3-way fight in the Constructors, team championship. But because Ismail has won this race, he's now also in the fight for the driver's title. And that might just help us that tiny bit going into Abu Dhabi, because they will both teams will be focusing on the driver's championship. We are not in it anymore. And that way we can fully focus on the team championship. As you can see there, we are now 3 points behind Alpine in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari is 24 points behind us, which means they're 27 behind Alpine. And yeah, all to play for. Ferrari can still win the Constructors if they finish well in the last race, and both of us don't finish well, both Red Bull and Alpine. So it's really all to play for. But it's going to be an exciting one. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.